man, Gagasi first line namhlanje sibhizi nje nabadidiyeli be-TV namafilimu yonke nje leyo nto, chatting to Uzalo Phakade as well as Fikile Mogodi and then MQ Ngubani. Right now kodwa mina as iyami mami ngikhuluma noFikile uFix, who is a television producer, director and editor. His work is best known on huge productions such as Uzalo, which everybody loves, The Wife, yes, Upetina Wait, as well as Ehostela. So Fikile, without further ado, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Lovely to chat with you. So why directing and producing, especially in TV and film? Tell me more about that.
One gets an opportunity to look at life and really package bias as a director. As directors, we are observers of life, and we try to coordinate and bring life to words. Scripted things that speak to the art of life, because I believe that's what life is. You know, it is an art where life imitates the art and the art imitates life as well. Type of vibe.
Is that what you always wanted to do growing up, or was it something that you discovered along the way? Gagasi, this is what I want to do.
I wanted to actually be a National Geographic cinematographer because I really loved animals, and I thought, how are they getting these things? That's what I thought I would do. Among other things, but I really wanted to tell stories.
Love it. So you've worked on quite a few very epic productions. What was the toughest production you've ever worked on to date?
The Wife. The Wife was the toughest.
Tell me more about that.
I remember when I was briefed on The Wife, because it was a trilogy that already existed in terms of she has an audience already that have imagined this world. Now, how do I bring this world to life? I remember I was sitting one day thinking to myself, actually, there's two things that can come from this project. It's either it's going to mess up my entire career because everybody's going to hate me afterwards. I mean, there's a couple of people who hate me because they don't like what we did with the books, you know? But nevertheless, I also kind of knew that if this would be something that would live on forever if I do it right.
Yeah, man. And how do you tackle scenes in bed to like, hey, yes, as if I was in that room, particularly that sexy. Were you part of that, or were you around? And how do you handle scenes on Leon? Because I mean, there's takes, there's over and over and over.
Sex scenes are stunts. I approach them exactly like that. There's an intimacy coordinator that comes in. You don't. So it's not like you have two people just making love and then we shoot. It's not like that. Every single shot is well thought through. There's the consent of the two parties that are going to be participating. That particular scene that you are referring to, which is, I think it was season 2, was quite a tough one because I had 2 minutes to fill with intimacy. And it had to be something that has not necessarily been seen before in Africa. That was my scope. But to be safe, I had to do my research, which is very important. I remember when I spoke to both Kanye and Mondli, who were playing Putom Dala and Zandi at that time, I had given them references from Power. Power is a beautiful story that shows love between black people in a very explicit way, and it's also something that was on Showmax at that time, so it kind of gave me the boundaries in terms of how far can I take this thing. And we decided we're going to hide everything in plain sight. It took me 4 hours to shoot that 2 minutes.
Wow. So it's very technical.
It's very technical.
Okay. So it's not... Okay, I got you.
It's
the more successful and more popular The Wife became, especially after Isis Nyami Uqala, did you ever feel the pressure as someone who was working behind the scenes that the show had to be perfect? There was this pressure of the books. You know, everyone knows you read the book and the TV or film is never the same because you have already imagined the characters in your head. So did you ever feel any pressure to kind of get it right, or oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up?
When you're on set as a director, I think by that time you need to trust the process. It's a symbiotic process. You don't just trust the planning that you have, and then you just articulate whatever feeling that comes on the day. And it's a collaborative space. As a director, I need to understand what the actors are also willing and how far they're able to go and everybody else who's around me as well, you know. And then it's not over until the audience sees it, because it's still going to be packaged by the editors, who also have a different perspective of what the story is supposed to read or look like.
Got you. You know, I mean, you are now being nominated in big awards and stuff like that. But I mean, in your early days, you must have had umuntu or a mentor who kind of took you under their wing. Who was that, and how did that contribute to Fikile Mogodi njengamanje?
Funny enough, umqondisi ngubani.
Of course.
Yeah. I pestered him for 2 years. He told me that I was a chancer. I remember we met when we were shooting Jam Sandwich, and I was the production driver at that time. Having worked within the industry, from art department, I was taught film. I didn't go to film school, but I was taught film by people that are absolutely great practitioners within that space. And I said to him, dude, I want to direct. He's like, nah, bro, I don't trust you. Until I had to go shoot my own things, started editing my own things, went to his house every single day to do research. And the art of packaging, before you actually put on a camera, you need to know what you need to do. And I think it's been a very beautiful journey. We've done big projects together. He called me when he was doing Ehostela. He was like, I think the script is crazy enough for you. You're not gonna get paid a lot, but you know, I think it's a beautiful story. And from there we did Hostela, we did Bettina.
Look at you now.
We did.
No, shout out to Mkondisi for real, man. But you know, I'm speaking about Mudengale interview. Just wanted to get a feel of you and your journey. And I mean, you're doing great work. We love seeing what you give to us. You keep us glued to our screens, which just means you're in the right direction. In closing, what's the biggest misconception that Abantu have about Ama directors? You know, that you've heard or you've seen or you've been told by Abantu who have to deal with Ama directors?
They think it's an easy job. They think directing is sitting behind a monitor and saying cut. It has nothing to do with that. It's you are a manager of every single soul that is on set. Because if you are not able to get the best out of each individual, the lady that is doing breakfast, the AD that is on set, everyone who's part of the whole thing, if you are not able to manage those relationships, then what direction are you giving? Got you.
I mean, I know I said that was the last question, but actually this is the last question. It's Men's Month, you know, and Amadota are seen as leaders. Well, they're supposed to be leaders in the community. And called couch casting. What's your thought and opinion about stuff like that in the industry?
It does exist. A lot of ladies and guys these days want to offer themselves up to get opportunities to be on the screen, which is actually a very sad thing. Because the longevity of it is then seen. You can see he doesn't have a calling or she doesn't have a calling in this particular thing. So it's a culture that, unfortunately, as long as there's a need or a demand, there's going to be a supply. It's something that we have to cap and just make sure that whoever is put on the screen is there for a particular purpose and can actually imitate life as it was.
I love that. Thank you so much for his Kasako. Fikile Mogodi, who is a television producer, director, and editor right here on the Gagasi Fast Lanes. Kasako is very appreciated, as well as your talent.
We are thankful.
Thank you. Thank you.